All right, let's talk about something that, let's be honest, can feel more like a chore than a useful tool: the Data Protection Impact Assessment, or DPIA. But what if we could take it from being this dusty document that sits on a shelf and turn it into a living, breathing part of your development process? That's exactly what we're going to dig into. So, tell me if this sounds familiar. You're a developer, maybe a product manager, and you've got this exciting new feature you're ready to build. But first, you get handed this monster of a document, the DPIA, and you spend hours, maybe even days, wrestling with it, trying to get every little detail just right. And then, what happens? It gets a signature, it's filed away in some folder on a server somewhere, and that's it. It just sits there, completely disconnected from the actual product you're building day in and day out. It's a huge source of frustration for so many teams. But you know what? It really doesn't have to be like that. So, just to make sure we're all on the same page, what exactly is a DPIA? Well, at its core, it's a risk assessment tool. Its whole job is to help you think ahead, to identify how a new project might impact someone's privacy, and then figure out how to reduce those risks before you even write a single line of code. So, what if we just flipped the script? What if we stopped looking at the DPIA as this one-and-done compliance task and started treating it like a strategic tool for building better, safer products? I love this slide because it lays it all out so clearly. On the left, you've got the old way, the static approach. It's a task you just have to get through to tick a box. But on the right, you see the shift to a living approach. It's not a one-time thing, it's a continuous process that's actually integrated into how you work and focused on making the product better. This is the whole game changer, right here. And that's the secret sauce. The goal isn't to create some brand new, heavy process that slows everyone down. Nope. The real win is weaving this thinking directly into the workflow your teams are already using every single day, the Software Development Lifecycle, or SDLC. So, how do we actually pull this off? Well, we can map these privacy checks to each key stage of development. Let's just walk through what this actually looks like in practice, starting right at the very beginning. Right at the idea stage, when a new feature is just a concept, that's the golden opportunity for a quick privacy pre-check. Now, this isn't the full heavy-duty assessment. It's more like a short, simple checklist for your product managers that forces them to ask the most important question of all. Do we really need to collect this data? Answering that one question early can save you a world of hurt down the line. Okay, next up, the design phase. And this is where that little pre-check we just talked about really starts to pay off. If a feature is doing something high risk, like anything with facial recognition or super detailed location tracking, this is your moment to raise a flag and say, hey, this one needs a full DPIA. It's also the perfect time to pull the privacy team into design reviews so they can spot potential risks, like a new third-party tool, before it's too late. Now we get to the code. And this is just a brilliant way to make privacy real for your engineers. Instead of some abstract rule, you turn it into a privacy-aware user story. The example here is perfect. As a user, I want to delete my account fully. That's not just a vague concept. It's a clear, testable feature that an engineer can build and a tester can verify. It makes privacy tangible. We're getting close to the finish line, deployment. And we've all been there, right? Last-minute changes happen, a different integration gets swapped in, or a new data field gets added. This is your final checkpoint. Before you push that big red button to go live, you take a quick look at the DPIA to make sure it still matches what you're actually about to release into the wild. And finally, just because the product is live doesn't mean the work is done. It just moves into a monitoring phase. Your product is going to evolve, right? You'll add big new features, maybe start collecting new kinds of data. Each of those moments is a trigger to go back and revisit the DPIA to keep it alive and accurate. Okay, I know exactly what you're thinking right now. This sounds great in a perfect world, but doesn't this just pile a ton of extra work on our already swamped teams? It's a totally fair question, and honestly, it's the biggest reason these kinds of initiatives fail. And the answer in one word is automation. The only way you can make a process like this stick, the only way it becomes sustainable and scalable, is to build it right into the tools your teams already live in every day. It has to feel natural, not like an interruption. And we're not talking about some sci-fi fantasy here. Look at these examples. In a tool like Jira, you could just add a simple custom flag to a ticket that asks, does this involve personal data? If someone checks yes, maybe it automatically links to a pre-filled template in Confluence. Or in GitHub, you could just add a simple question to your pull request template. These are tiny, low-effort changes that can have a massive impact. And look, the most important thing to remember is you don't have to boil the ocean here. You don't need some perfectly automated, flawless system on day one. Just start small. Pick one thing, add one little prompt to your workflow, create one simple template. You'll be amazed at how the momentum builds from there. This quote really it nails the whole point. When you start thinking this way, you realize that DPIAs aren't just about satisfying a regulator. They're about building better products for your users. They're about earning and, more importantly, keeping their trust. And ultimately, when you weave this process into your daily work, something really powerful happens. Privacy stops being the legal team's job or that one person's problem. It becomes a shared responsibility. It becomes part of your team's culture and a real measure of the quality of your work. So, I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Think about your own team, your own process. What's one small, simple prompt, one little question you could introduce this week to start making privacy a visible, integrated part of how you build things?